She who follows the way of the Tao will draw the world to her steps. She can go without fear of being injured because she has found peace and tranquility in her heart. Where there is music and good food, people will stop to enjoy it, but words spoken of the Tao seem to them boring and stale. When looked at, there is nothing for them to see. When listened for, there is nothing for them to hear. Yet if they put it to use, it would never be exhausted. I heard a statistic the other day that on average, a person who buys their first self-help book will buy 7 more. That's pretty crazy, and I think it's a good example of the concept I want to talk a little bit about today. See, almost all humans share at least one fatal flaw: the horror and neglect of the obvious. Often, we act like we don't have the solutions to our problems, but much of the time, we have all the solutions we need. We just can't bring ourselves to apply them. We know that having a healthy lifestyle is pretty simple. Eat less, eat better things, and exercise regularly. Yet we are constantly on the hunt for the new best diet or the shiniest new workout plan. In reality, we would probably get perfectly fine results from the most basic or rudimentary diet and exercise plan. Literally almost any plan would do. But instead of just consistently applying one, we often allow ourselves to get so caught up in the search for the best one that we never actually start one at all. One example of this in my life is sleep. All throughout high school, I struggled with waking up on time. I was constantly in danger of being kicked out of my early morning extracurriculars because of excessive tardiness, and I nearly drove my parents crazy. I tried everything to get up on time, playing music, putting my alarm at the other side of the room. I even put thumbtacks on the top of my alarm clock to poke me when I hit the alarm button. It seemed like I had tried everything and nothing was working. Well, I should say that I tried almost everything, because the funny thing is, after graduation, I stopped sleeping in almost instantly once I stopped going to bed at midnight every night. Once again, this was a pretty obvious solution, going to bed earlier, but my failure to apply the simplest and most obvious solution to my problem led me to somehow believe that my problem was just too big to overcome. As is so very consistent with human nature, I was looking for a grand and creative solution to my issue, when the real solution was simple, obvious, and characteristically boring. See, concepts of the Tao can be like this too. We keep looking for the next self-help book, or the next program to make us finally feel at peace and happy, but the answers have been around us for thousands of years. They can be found in almost all major religions, and are supported in many major philosophies as well. Learn to master your desires and selfishness, and seek oneness with the greater power of the universe. Some people call this Tao, others call it God, some call it the higher self, but at the end of the day, the essence is largely the same, and it usually has to do with putting aside what you want to do in favor of the path the universe, God, or the Tao places before you. Compared to advice we get from advertisements, hustle icons, and financial gurus, this advice seems overly simple and overly boring. It is much more appealing to believe that we can become happy by finding our dream job, amassing enough stuff, and impressing the people around us. We worship people that overcome huge physical odds and develop deviously creative solutions to their problems. It's tempting to believe that happiness will come when we buy the next thing or accomplish the next goal, because it's a lot easier to buy something than to actually get your life in order. But the longer we put off the real work of putting aside our own desires, the worse our lives will get, until we ultimately become so miserable that we give up altogether, or we are forced to change our lives. This is certainly one way to live life, but it's not a very fun way. Often, we know deep down what we need to do about the problems we are facing. If we can learn to embrace the boring solutions and apply them consistently and diligently, we will usually be much better off. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow for chapter 36. Peace and blessings.